Today we launched our 5th edition of our sustainability report for 2025. And I'm very happy because we've learned as we've gone on over the years on how to do this well. And today it was an indeed very energetic day. This year's theme is a sustainable future in every drop, a very inspirational theme. At EABL, over the last many years, we've been investing a lot of money to support our sustainability journey. Internally, we call it Spirit of Progress, which is really ESG, or environmental, social, and governance. If I start with governance, which we don't talk a lot about because it's integrated within our financial statements, is the governance of how we govern ourselves and ensure we are sustainable for the next 100 years. For us, it's about being inclusive with the communities where we operate, gender, people living with disabilities, and including the communities around us so that they can also enjoy our economic sustainability, prosperity journey. And then on environment is about our conservation of water, good usage of water, and making sure that we are not emitting a lot of carbon, and shortly we'll be net zero in both water and in carbon. I want to talk about water. We know water is very important in running our own operations, both for the products that we sell, but also for the cleanliness and running the machinery internally within the business. We also know that we're in a water-stressed area. Kenya in general and East Africa in general, we are water-stressed. We know what has happened in terms of afforestation, and water masses are reducing because of different issues. So on water, we are working internally to make sure that we are replenishing, that we are recycling, that also our usage is quite good. So if I start in terms of how we are using the water, the usage of water in our manufacturing, for the beers, we are now at 2.8 liters per liter of beer, and we hope to get to 2.4. That's our ambition, and that is very near the global average. In terms of recycling and reusing, we are able to retract or to get 43% of the water that we would send to the waste channels back to reuse, which is good. And right now we are working on an innovation where we have zero effluents into the ecosystem. And this is a tough journey, but one day we are going to get it right. The other one we are doing is conserving the environment around where our water sources come from. And in particular, in Kenya, I want to talk about the Upper Tana ecosystem, which is Laikipia, Nyeri, Murang'a, and Kirinyaga districts, where we source our waters. That, as you know, that's the Aberdare and the Mount Kenya region. We're working with Nature Kenya to plant a lot of trees around the water sources and around the mountains. We've also had a lot of initiatives to ensure that we are carbon neutral. Firstly, we are using Kenya Power, which we know in Kenya a lot of power is green. But we've also been using HO4 in the past to power our boilers. We've now invested over $55 million to build biomass plants in Uganda, Kisumu, and Tusker House to remove the HO4 usage and use alternative sources of energy, for example, macadamia husks, sugar bagasse, wood chips, and even acorns recently. This is going to further ensure that a significant part of our carbon emissions are contained. The other thing is that we've been working with our partners, especially our hauliers, to get into an innovation where the trucks are using recycled oil, food oils, which are green in nature. And we have about, in our system, we have over 30 trucks trying out this, particularly with the partnership with DHL, to reduce our carbon. We are hoping by 2030, we will be carbon neutral. Kenya, by Euromonitor International. And we got some surprising and disappointing results that the illicit alcohol ratio to formal alcohol has reduced. A few years ago, we were 50-50, but the recent research shows that 60% of the total consumed alcohol in Kenya is illicit and 40% is a formal. Obviously, this has ramifications for government revenue. The government revenue will continue going down. And then also from the illicit perspective, it's never safe, usually not safe. So we find a lot of alcohol addiction and health issues associated with the consumption of illicit alcohol. The other thing is, I think we've learned recently, is that the contribution of Kenya breweries to the Kenyan economy has risen quite significantly over the last few years. From the total supply chain from our suppliers, we have over 60,000 farmers, to the other suppliers who supply us with all the stuff that we use in manufacturing, to the employees, and also to the on-trade, our distributors and the outlets across Kenya. And the total number of impact of our business in Kenya is 114 billion shillings, which is good and very impressive. However, the question on my mind is, how do we increase this 114 billion so that we can do better for our communities and even better for our key stakeholder, the government of Kenya? I think one is to look at policies that make us or support us to sell a lot more boxes out of the door. And then lastly, how do we ensure that the illicit part of alcohol is contained so that the formal continue expanding so that everybody in the ecosystem can rake in more income, and for the government, our biggest stakeholder, gets more